his current situation has been shaped by good times. Please welcome Tom.
Right.
Has anyone here ever experienced heartbreak? I don't see a lot of hands. Someone has to experience heartbreak other than me. Well,
Is your volume all the way up? Okay, turn yours down. Let's see if mine is better.
when you're 18 years old and you experience one of your first heartbreaks, one of the first real crushes you have, it feels like the world is ending. In reality, it's not really the case. In reality, none of it really matters in the big scheme of things. You have a whole lot of life ahead of you. But at the time, it is very hard to forget about that. Well, in the summer of 2014, I had a really big heartbreak. And fortunately, I had a handful of friends that really helped me forget about that. I graduated high school in May of 2014. And after that, a lot of my friends are going off to college. But instead of not doing anything that summer, we all decided to go hard and have tons of adventures. We had one almost every single day. However, today I'm going to share with you a story about 4 of those adventures that I had with my friends. The first one we had, pretty vanilla, I must say, but it's very appropriate with the current time. I don't know if many of you are watching, but there's a World Cup going on currently. And the last time the US were in the World Cup, the last game they played actually in the round of 16 against Belgium, me and my 4 friends, Paul, Steven, and Tyler, we showed up to Buffalo Wild Wings about 3 hours early because we couldn't get seats otherwise. We waited to watch the game, see Tim Howard save the US over a 90-minute time period, and ultimately fall in extra time to a few amazing goals by Belgium and a comeback that came up just short in the extended 30 minutes of the game. And that was an awesome tip-off to the summer, because the rest of the summer, we did some pretty edgy things. One of our favorite activities to do, especially late at night, was to sneak into the Garden of the Gods country club, the Kissing Camels country club over there, and swim in their pool. We had a friend that actually had a membership to the club on their car. And when they would go to the gate, they'd let us in. But of course, the pool was closed, so we had to jump the fence to the pool and swim in the pool. I was really surprised, especially now that I'm an adult and I've discovered the social media app, Next Door Neighbor, about how people actually no one ever caught us or ever seemed to care that we were swimming in a pool after hours, ultimately. But man, those are fun times. Every time after the pool, we would go over to Taco Express. I don't know if many of you know Taco Express, but it's a Mexican chain restaurant here in town. Very good Mexican food, at least in my opinion. We'd get our favorite burritos and hang out at Paul's house playing some poker. Another night, since we were all 18 and all, we decided it was time to go to our first nightclub. We went to the Beta Club, which is in downtown Denver. It's in the lower downtown area, right next to the Rocky Stadium. We discovered that night that nightclubs aren't really our scene. A couple of vanilla suburban white boys maybe don't fit in well at a nightclub. But however, we did have a good time in the lower downtown area of Denver. After the game, we had some pizza. We explored the lower downtown area, and then we went home. It was a great night, despite not really having a good time at a nightclub. Then our final adventure of the summer, it was as the summer was coming to a close and everyone was getting prepared to go off to college. Actually, the next day, Paul was moving to South Florida because that's where he was going to school, South Florida. We decided that we would go all out. We went to, I think it's Summit XL now. It's off of Interquest. We went to do some bowling there. Again, a very vanilla activity, but we decided to instead do something incredibly edgy afterwards. Now, there is a Drury Inn hotel in the Interquest area. I'm sure many of you have seen it driving by. and it was being built in 2014. Well, we were driving by it and noticed the construction site, the gate was open. And of course, a couple 18-year-olds wanting to do something memorable on a late July evening, we decided to climb the crane, the construction crane in the construction site. Once again, there's many people around us. No one really seemed to care. No one really seemed to notice. And we went ahead and I think it was 8 or 9 stories of just the ladder straight up. We sat there on top of the crane, spent 30 or 40 minutes talking. And the funny part was we had this one friend who he decided that that was too risky for him, climbing construction crane. So we were making fun of him while he was sitting down in the car looking at us, thinking about how much idiots we were for climbing that crane. Well, it was an amazing summer. And unfortunately, the good times had to come to an end after that night. Now, of course, those friends that we have, we still talk to each other all the time. We still talk about how such a great summer that was. And it was almost as if our last hurrah had occurred while we were starting our lives, or we're going to college. Of course, college isn't such an occasion that you're going to figure out everything about yourself, but it's starting a new chapter of your life. And what a way to end our old chapter of our life, our youth, with such an amazing summer and all our adventures that we had. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tom. Things around here. Scott is our general evaluator today, who will be introducing our evaluators for our speeches.
You want to do a timers report?
Oh, thank you. Timers report.
Timing was a little bleak and sketchy. Both speakers qualified.
Let's see if they want.
All right.
And if you can send in your votes, our vote counter today
Well,
is
Yeah,
Ray.
I think I can launch the poll now.
Oh, yep, right. So if anybody who's writing votes, send them on the paper over to Greg, and online is up. Thank you for launching that, Greg. Now, I believe, we also needed to do votes and timers report. Well, we didn't have time on our.
They all qualified.
Oh, yeah.
All 2 of our table topics qualified as well. And if you have a moment to start the poll for table topics as well, then we can vote on that.
One moment.
That was Sterling and Lisa.
Okay, poll launch for table topics.
Thanks. Thanks for the reminder about timers report, Mr. Timer. Now we are ready for our general evaluator. Scott, would you like to take it away?
Yes, please, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna hybrid the hybrid. I'm gonna do it right from my desk here.
Okay.
Today, so Emily didn't make it back on, so Greg has graciously offered to evaluate Bruce's speech. One of the greatest Toastmasters we've ever met, Greg Von Williams.
All right, great.
I got my notes on here.
Okay.
Sorry, did you say that Emily wasn't able to rejoin the meeting?
She rejoined, but she was not in when Bruce was speaking.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep.
You hear that, Dan?
Yep.
Okay. Let me get my notes up here. Let me record myself, I guess. Let me stop recording.